Welcome back to the best family on all of YouTube. So today, I'm going to be elaborating on the Jedi class, Jedi Guardian, which is many of the times a famous Jedi class that consists of the most powerful Jedi in the entire Jedi Order. So, let's get started. We, Guardians, are the Republic's first line of defense against the 1,000 enemies who seek to destroy it. A Jedi Guardian was the name given to one of the three distinct branches of Jedi, the other two being Jedi Counselor and Jedi Sentinel. The Jedi's Guardian skills and talents lay in battle, a light side mirror of the Sith warrior. So in basic morality, these were powerful warriors of the Jedi Order that were basically the light side versions of the Sith warriors. So they had the most amount of power and they had a great connection to the Force, usually represented by their midi-chlorian count and their years and years of training, decades of training. Their role in the Jedi Order was largely consistent through its history, but it was first written down by the Jedi Guardian, Jedi Ace Quix Sunburst, which is another Star Wars Expanded Universe book that I definitely recommend. Many concentrating on martial arts and training, Jedi Guardians engage in combat more than the other classes, such as Counselors and Sentinels. The role in the galaxy was to defeat the weak and establish the laws and protect the laws of the Galactic Republic. The Guardians were often seen as representatives, and so, if you didn't know, the majority of the Jedi High Council were Jedi Guardians. You know, they were secure in the Force, and very likely for them to be killed in a skirmish or a battle assigned to them. Focusing all their time and effort on martial skills, such as the many different lightsaber forms. If you didn't know, Jedi and Sith have multiple lightsaber forms. These were trained to them since infancy and since being a Padawan to make sure that they could protect themselves over a variety and a plethora of different enemies and assassins. Like Luke Skywalker, proficient in all lightsaber forms. Form 1, Shio, while learning lightsaber techniques, a Jedi or Sith apprentice is trained to recognize all 7 forms of combat, Shio. So that's basically a basic representation of all the Jedi lightsaber forms. Form 2, Makashi. That's what Lord Vader used. It's called secondary, the way of the Ysalamiri, when the Jedi began fighting Sith and other lightsaber wielders. It emphasizes precision, making sure that you attack the enemy at a precise form, at a correct angle, 100%, with very little to no mistakes. Simple footwork, so nothing crazy. So something that maybe a heavier Jedi or Sith may use if they're heavy and they are unable to move across the battlefield in a very fast pace. And they had a really strong defense against Form 1. That means they could defend really strongly against a Jedi that's proficient in all lightsaber forms. Basic proficiency, to be exact. Notable practitioners were Count Dooku. As you know, he was the aging, fallen Jedi, now known as Darth Tyrannus, that with his old age he was still able to fight Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker and defeat both of the Jedi near their prime, even though Anakin Skywalker was not near his prime in Episode 2. Form 3, Sarisu. The way of the Minoc was developed to defend against blasters. So if you didn't know, Obi-Wan and Yoda, they were very proficient in Sarisu. That's how they were able to go back to the Jedi Temple after Order 66 and protect against the entire Grand Army of the Republic. That means you see Obi-Wan and Anakin, they're fighting against like 100 clone troopers and they were deflecting every single blaster with relative ease. Efficient movements that shielded the Jedi's body, making sure that they were never ever get caught in a blaster bolt. And it's the primary, and encourages the lightsaber to be the primary weapon of defense. Defense at all costs. Defense before attack. Defense before before using violence. Many of the times the most peaceful Jedi used Sarisu, while Anakin Skywalker didn't even use Sarisu. He was focused more on attack and overpowering his enemy, maximizing his power to take down the enemy. Ataru, Form 4. The way of the Hawkbat is aggressive and acrobatic style. A practitioner of this form channels the Force to achieve high-speed movements. So the most fast and the most lightweight Jedi use Form 4, Ataru, such as Jedi like Satele Shan, Bastila Shan, Celeste Morne, Anya Kuro. Many of the practitioners of this lightsaber form, Form 4 Ataru, were lightweight. Were thin, lightweight, but undeniably powerful in the Force. Don't judge the weak muscles. Form 5, Jem So. The way of the Krayt Dragon. So if you didn't know, Darth Krayt, his name stemmed by the Krayt Dragon on Tatooine. Formed out of Form 3, using its precise defensive motions to create a more offensive fighting style. Anakin Skywalker, Darth Krayt, Darth Caedus. Many of these are Dark Jedi that turn to the dark side, wanting to maximize their power. The first variation, Shan, focuses on deflecting blaster bolts back at targets. So they focus on not just blocking an enemy attack, but overwhelming an enemy attack. Just like how Anakin Skywalker overwhelmed Count Dooku during the Battle of Coruscant. And similar to how Anakin Skywalker overwhelmed many of the Jedi Masters during Operation Nightfall. Form 6, Niman. Notable practitioners were Count Dooku and General Grievous. The way of the Rancor is a synthesis of elements from the 5 previous forms. It is very popular among Jedi who do not focus on combat training. So many of these practitioners, they mix, and they use a mix of telekinesis, which is force push, force pull, force repulse, all the different force powers you see in games, in expanded universe games like The Force Unleashed, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. So they were very proficient in dual blade lightsabers, like Exar Kun. Who else can I name? I can name numerous other Jedi. Form 7, Juyo or Vapad. This is the power where they use the dark side of the Force to protect them. Like some of the Jedi, while fighting in combat, they have to use the dark side of the Force to increase the power of the lightsaber. Just like how is Mace Windu able to deflect Darth Sidious Force lightning when it was completely unexpected? He had the power of Vapad that was using the dark side energy from Emperor Palpatine to reflect the black, and the effect of it showing that Darth Sidious, Emperor Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, would be disfigured from his own Force lightning being deflected. I like this one because instead of using so much instead of trying to overpower the enemy, they remain calm and they overpower the enemy by sensing their dark energy and having it reflected. Just like how Mace Windu in the Revenge of the Sith video game was able to actually almost take down Anakin Skywalker. That's why Mace Windu was really powerful, because they did not fear the dark side. Just like if a Jedi or a Grey Jedi uses some aspects of the dark side in battle, then they'll be more powerful than a light side Jedi that remain and that 100% choose to be a peacekeeper. And the Jedi Guardian, they had many specialized paths. They sometimes were proficient and were very professionalized and weapon specialists. So they even understood the way of a blaster. So I would recommend those Jedis to be like Luke Skywalker, because he wasn't even a Jedi before. He was a rebel soldier that was learning at the same time to become a Jedi. Remember, he became a Padawan, learning from Master Yoda 2 years after A New Hope. Then there's ones that are lightsaber instructors, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, teaching Luke Skywalker how to use a lightsaber during A New Hope. A Jedi Ace, these were adept pilots in dogfighters, like Plo Koon. Plo Koon was one of the most best star pilots in the galaxy. Until he was killed by Order 66. Anakin Skywalker was one of them. Anakin Skywalker had so much characteristics in every single one of these categories. The micro categories of a Jedi Guardian. That's why he was the chosen one. And then, you know, you got the Peacekeepers, which, you know, that were focusing on the Temple Security Force. Like Shakti. She was a member of the Temple Security Force. That means they're protectors of the Jedi Temple, and during the Clone Wars conflict, they remained at the Jedi Temple to make sure that the Padawans and younglings would have protection, even though they didn't know Order 66 was going to happen. So if you enjoyed my video, please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and like always, may the Force be with you. And if you want to follow me on Instagram at TheRealTanley, TheRealTanley.